As you know, Endless Chances is an adult romance novel. What made you decide to make it solely adult and kind of venture out of that whole young adult, teenage type of novel?
So it took a lot to really think about, because I know that if I had made it to the younger adults, I would definitely have, more audience. But I wanted a book that that had expression, and I wanted something different. A lot of Nigerian books don't really, because of the culture, the culture, we're a very religious culture. It's very heavily frowned upon to have sex before marriage, even though we all have sex before marriage, but we can't say it. We we also the It's not the norm to talk about a woman's feeling. So it's not the norm to talk about anybody's feeling, really.
Right, we're very
So we're just
sheltered.
we feel it, but we keep it in. So I just kind of wanted to talk about what a woman feels, her sexuality, her sensuality. And she was innocent. She learned it as she went along. She learned it from her experience and her feelings, and I just wanted that to be shared and to make it something that you don't have to be ashamed of. It's a normal, natural feeling that every woman pretty much has, and I just kind of wanted, and it doesn't matter what culture it is, even in that strict, Christian and Muslim culture, it still happens. And we still feel that way as women. So
What I'm getting from what you're saying is that without the intimacy and the sexuality and sensuality, that Endless Chances would not be the same book. It wouldn't be your story.
it would be the story, but it would be the story if I take out the deep sexual content, because she did have feelings. And even when she looked at Wale sometimes, she said, oh my God, how am I so lucky that he wants me? Or, why is he in the corner of my heart? Or why do I feel so sad, because he's not here? So I feel like the message will still come across, but the real element of Endless Chances, like you kind of mentioned or alluded to, is the fact that we felt the way Ajoke felt in every aspect.
Of course.
Just not sexually, just her ambition, her wanting to go to school, her not understanding why she didn't have a relationship with her mom, always feeling something was off. All of those, is what makes Endless Chances, is her deep feelings.
How would you say that the inability to express love and feelings and PDA and sexuality, sensuality, how would you say that stifles Nigerians? If you feel that even stifles, not everyone feels that way, but how do you feel that stifles Nigerian? Because one thing I got from what you said is that, we generally are not people who are going to be loving out loud and be super duper visual about how we feel or even saying how we feel.
I feel like it doesn't really hold you back. And I'm not saying that or encouraging that we should be, talking about it all day. But I feel like we should be able to know that it's okay to feel that way. So when you read Ajoke's story, you're not even within you feeling like me feeling this way is wrong, or me feeling this way is not right, or I don't have a right to feel this way. You can feel that way. And Ajoke's story, to me, puts it out there that people can feel that way, especially people who are insignificant. Ajoke was deemed insignificant. She was a maid. She had no business, and she even herself knew, like, I have no business messing with her. I have no business, but they do feel that way, and not just, and it doesn't matter who they are. They have feelings, real feelings.
So would you say that Ajoke's tribe, you know, being Yoruba as well as her class, is what could have had an effect on her feelings of intimacy and love. Because in the book, you know, she doesn't really know much. She's very, dare I say, naive, as you would expect any teenage girl to be. How does her background have an effect on her approach to love and intimacy?
I think that's what makes the book beautiful, because Ajoke goes into life innocent. She has no clue, you know. And I know you read the book, and even when she starts to flirt with him, she doesn't even realize she's doing that. Like when he's flirting around with Bosse, and she's annoyed, she's irritated and doesn't understand, like, why does he even pay her any attention? It's there, but she doesn't even know it. So it's innocent. And even when they have their first real sexual experience and he goes and he doesn't even look back at her, she's thinking to herself, could this be love? Why do I feel so bad? Why do I feel so dejected? And if it's love, I really don't want to ever do this again, you know. But even though she's saying that to herself and convincing herself, she's still back, you know. Every time she hears or sees him or thinks about him, she still gets very excited. So for me, the book is, she's just so thrown into it. Has nothing to do with her background, has nothing to do with her tribe. She's just a girl who falls in love and, you know, innocently does so at first. Well, if we think she falls in love, because everybody has their opinion.
Right.
You know,
That's
not
subjective.
everybody thinks she falls in love.
Right. In the book, you know, we have the protagonist, obviously Ajoke, and we also have Wale as well. How did you think it was important for you to write the book from the perspective of the woman? You know, you could have easily given us the male's perspective. Other books do it. They give us, this is what this guy is thinking, you know, this is what he wants. But your book focuses on her perspective. Why did you think it was important to do that?
Because I wanted the book to entirely focus on her life. It wasn't about his life. In the book, I don't even really describe Wale. I wanted Wale to be who you want Wale to be. We know he was gorgeous, deadly fine. You know, he was just so handsome. But sure, you know, in terms of like his facial structure and things like that, is who you want him to be. But Ajoke was really solely. And again, that's why I said I took a lot out, because I wanted that whole story to be what she as a person was feeling about her life, and really think about people who are so like Ajoke, not in every aspect like Ajoke, but the maids out there, the person who wanted to go to school and couldn't go to school, not necessarily a maid, the person who was insignificant, the person who had no hope in life, you know, just kind of be able to pick up on Ajoke and relate to a piece of Ajoke.
And I think that that's honestly the most beautiful part of the book, because like you said, there is a part of Ajoke in everybody. Even a guy can relate to some part of Ajoke. Her story is so relatable. She's a relatable person, which is what, even when she was in her village, made her stand out from the others. She's just so different, so relatable. So I haven't really commented too much on it, but the adult part of the book, how did you think your family and friends and colleagues and I don't know, how did you think that they were going to react to, or you know, what feedback were you expecting to get when you were writing that adult part?
The first thing I did was like I broke it down to them. I said, look, this may go sour because it's out there, it's all out there. You know, they're young. You know, when they start this, they're kind of young. So you may get, people may talk bad, and I just want to let you know that I'm doing it. I'm going to write about this explicit stuff in my book. And for the guys, you know, for my two boys, they were like, okay, mom. For my daughter, she's like, you know, is it going to be that bad? And I said, no, it's going to be real. For my husband, it's okay, but you know, he was kind of, you can do it. And strictly want them. Again, I may get bad publicity. It may affect, your name and things like that. But they kind of encouraged me. They're like, but I don't think they knew how bad it was. Like, not bad, but how, explicit it was. And I remember my husband reading the book, and he read the book, and he was like, he called me at work, and he didn't tell me he was reading the book. That was so good, after the book came out. And he said, why did you have to put that scene on there? Because a lot of people at his job asked him, like, is this what you guys do at home? And I'm like, what? So he said, why did you have to put that? And I'm like, I don't know. I just put it in there. You should have read the book before I published the book, But that was the joke about it. But yeah, I am very supported. My siblings don't even think it's too bad. They've read worse in their opinion. So, but I feel like the explicit content in the book is just real, and that's it happened between two people who really genuinely like each other. We think
allegedly
like each other.
Do you
from
think
both ends?
Do you think realness scares people? Like, I mean, your book is really, really real. Like, the sexual content, the intimacy between Ajoke and Wale, is real, is raw. Do you think realness scares people? Are people afraid, that it's gonna like cause people to just be out in the streets and rioting and acting crazy?
Yeah, sometimes I do, and I'm hoping that people will read the story from the beginning and not just fast forward to those pages, and read so that it has meaning to them. Like when you start and when you see where Ajoke came from to where she evolved to, and to finally liking, Wale, and to being disappointed by Wale. I'm hoping that at the end of it, they don't see that sexual part as just the sexual part. They really see the story for what is what. And that's why, again, I'm really contemplating the idea of making the same book and just taking out the sexual content, just so that I can get more people to feel the story, to learn the story, and to reach